Welcome back. We are back with another episode on Soothe Your Soul. We've been working very hard.
Yeah, we have.
It's time to play a little.
Yes, it is. So today I brought in self-awareness or self-reflection edition cards by We're Not Really Strangers. I will tag their Instagram in this video as well. This is a not sponsored video.
Not yet.
Yeah, there you go. But it's something that I really like to do on my free time or just share with others who are very important to me as a way for us to get to know each other a little bit more.
I thought this was such a good idea when you told me about it, and I had never played this game before, so we're playing it for the first time together. And Cassandra's gonna walk us through how this works and what the rules are and how you play. So hopefully we can give you a little bit more of an introduction to this game, since we'll be playing it together today, and we'll do one question today and see how it goes.
Yes, and honestly, probably one of my favorite games to do, especially with like people that you don't really know or even just like friends and family. It kind of serves as like an icebreaker game.
Okay.
But let's see. So there's really no rules.
Okay.
You pick a card. Dr. Z and I kind of cheated and we picked ours beforehand. So you kind of like jumble them up. You pick a card and then you ask it to the person, and then you also have to answer.
Okay.
So you're
both
getting
people
two.
have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you kind of like, and it leads to a deeper conversation sometimes, or sometimes it's just a simple answer and then you move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can keep it as simple as you want or go as deep as you want. So if you want to have an in-depth conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great icebreaker to have that in-depth conversation maybe.
Definitely. And then I think it also serves well with like friendships and relationships. Like sometimes it's hard to become very vulnerable, or
Yeah.
like where do we start?
Mm-hmm.
So I find that these cards are a great way to start.
Yeah.
So Dr. Z and I picked ours. Do you want to go with yours first?
Sure. My card is, I'm going to show it to you and then I'll read it. So these are the self-reflection cards. What's become more important to me recently than ever before? Vulnerability.
Okay.
If I have to say it in one word, and that's something I have been practicing for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I finally am seeing how being more vulnerable or being able to express things in a way where I am able to be more vulnerable with my thoughts, my feelings, leads me to a better result.
I love that.
So this really spoke to me.
I love that. And I also think as well that being vulnerable is such a courageous thing to do.
Oh, hardest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. So I think like practicing that and really becoming in tune with it is important, and also can just give you a peace of mind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's doing the Brene Brown books work, it's been years.
Mm-hmm.
Vulnerability isn't something that any of us are very familiar with.
Right.
Where many of us haven't been raised with how to be comfortable with vulnerability.
Yeah.
And as Brene Brown says, it's a weakness. We perceive it as a weakness,
Mm-hmm.
but she says it's actually a strength. And so to change how we think about it and approach vulnerability. So this one definitely for me is, it's been important, and I've seen more of a result recently with being able to be vulnerable. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think also it maybe might even encourage somebody else to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing this, maybe, just a thought. For mine, I would say something that has become more important to me than ever before would be my peace of mind.
Oh, I love that.
And more so in being mindful in what I do, and also just creating mindfulness in the sense that I am not getting stuck in my thoughts or ruminating a ton, and not adding too many layers than what the situation is at hand. So really is just being more at peace and figuring out what that means to me.
So maybe more mindfulness, being more present with yourself in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows us to empty our cup, the cup analogy,
Yes.
without carrying more in your cup. Because when you have a lot that you're juggling, then you can actively remove some of those things when we're more mindful.
Yeah. And I think it also allows me to make decisions with a level head.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tend to question a lot, like, was this an emotional response or was this a rational response? Or like a little bit more, what is the word I'm looking for, I guess, just having clarity and not being like emotionally reactive.
Yeah. Because it's hard to use our cognitive brain when we're feeling emotionally elevated, as we talked about also in one of our videos. So this allows you to be more present with yourself a little bit so you can make better decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Perfectly said. So that is my answer.
I love it.
And then my question is, here, I will hold it up. All right, and it's, what's a non-negotiable in my life? My happiness. I think, to put it together, definitely my happiness. In the sense that I think we are put in certain, like, I read this quote and it was something along the lines of, like, you will never be placed in a situation that creates you anxiety. And if you are feeling anxiety or if you like having feelings of anxiousness, you will be like so disturbed that you would want to leave, or you'll make action to leave. And that has recently resonated with me because I've realized that when I don't feel content with myself or content with where I'm at and whatever that may be, I tend to feel anxious, and it takes away from allowing myself to experience a form of happiness.
Yeah.
So I would say that is a non-negotiable. If it's taking away from my happiness and it's not contributing to my own happiness that I create in my life, then I don't want it.
That's right. That's such a big life lesson that we have to learn for ourselves. And we learn it with our own experience. So you've been through an experience where maybe that was negotiated and now it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah, definitely. And you live and you learn. And I think that's exactly what it is. Like, many experiences, I wouldn't say just one, but I think that there's many experiences that have really put me to reflect on, is this bringing me happiness, or why is this making me feel so unpleasant?
Yeah.
And then kind of observing the steps that I could take and finding the strength to take one of them.
I love it. Yeah. I could not come up with a better answer, first of all, but second of all, so thoughtful and meaningful. It's definitely the perfect one you've picked for today.
You would think.
So, what's a non-negotiable in my life? And I hadn't even started thinking of it until you started talking about yours, and I thought, that's a really interesting one, and I love what you've said, and I'm thinking now, so bear with me here. I'm thinking about what my non-negotiable is. But if I have to pick, as I'm just thinking about it, I think it's not incorporating self-care as a non-negotiable. Self-care is so important where I'm at in my life right now. I would be a mess.
Yes.
And not be able to juggle the things that I need to juggle or anchor myself in the way that I need to anchor myself to balance my responsibilities, my mental health, if I didn't have self-care in my life.
I love that. So putting yourself as a priority.
I feel like there is no other way for me to balance the things that I balance. So it's a non-negotiable. So I have to have self-care in my life.
Great. And I think it's necessary. I believe everybody needs a form of self-care in their life.
I agree. Absolutely. Whether yours is, whatever your form of self-care might be, everybody's can be different. But I know now for myself that is something I have to incorporate
Mm-hmm.
to survive.
Yeah, it's a requirement.
It's a non-negotiable.
I love it. So, take some time to reflect, no need to comment, but what's a non-negotiable in your life? And what's become more important to you recently than ever before?
I have to just press this comment real quick. I had not done this, played this game. Love it. Absolutely love it. I would
Yeah.
not have even thought of these questions
Mm-hmm.
had we not done this, but it was so much fun just sharing with you right now.
Yes, right?
It was so much fun, and while I was saying it, it was more of a learning process too, like as I was saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Self-reflective, it was intentional, so I feel like I've now marked it more in my head.
Yes. Like, it's not as easy to dismiss, and you kind of, like, acknowledge the weight it holds.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good refrain.
I love it. We just work well together.
We are so happy you joined us in our play date today.
Yes. Our play date.
And ask yourself these questions, and hopefully you'll find them beneficial, or ask somebody else and play this little game with us. And maybe you can catch some more questions with us on our Instagram.
Yes, and definitely check out We Are Not Really Strangers. They're great.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.